Well, Toyota now says prices are going up next month. Increases will average nearly $300. It comes after the president put new tariffs in place, but the car company denies the tariffs are playing a direct role.
And when I'm looking at a lot of data which shows this sort of slowdown that is gradually seeping up and spreading across the economy. And I think we're missing it because we're looking at headline payroll numbers or the weirdness in terms of trade and GDP. But this economy is gradually slowing down here.
Welcome back to Where is the Money? Apparently the money is not with our transportation and the cost of living in general. So as of the last few years, things have been getting pretty tight for American families. The working class, the middle class have been dealing with some serious issues on affording the normal standard of living that they are accustomed to living in previous times. The cost of gas, food, insurance, HOA, mortgage payments, all of these things are so much more than it was a few years ago. And nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to be worried except the working class.
America's affordability crisis is getting worse. Average Americans are struggling to afford rent, groceries, or even transportation.
Getting to work is work for Francesco Andrade. He rides his bike, hops on a train, and then takes a bus every day. His 20-mile journey was easier when he had a car, but after a crash, fixing it just cost too much.
It's almost like a struggle every paycheck.
Andrade is the sole provider for his family. To cut down on childcare costs, his wife stays at home with their young son.
It's heart-wrenching, because it makes me feel like I'm not enough.
Now, CBS Evening News did a segment where they interviewed and spoke to a gentleman that has a small family that is dealing with issues pertaining to affording just to get back and forth to work. Now, as they said, this gentleman's story is so much similar to millions of people across the nation. His situation was his car got crashed, the repairs were too expensive, so he chose to use the bike. Now, although his bike is much cheaper than a car, it still takes an hour and a half to 2 hours each way just to get back and forth to work, which eats up a large part of his day. I've seen many people opting for regular bikes or scooters, different kind of scooters, things like that, just to make things more affordable getting back and forth to work. Now, obviously, these bikes and scooters, riding it late at night, early in the morning, has its own set of risks. A lot of them don't have reflective gear or helmets or safety gear. While riding it, a lot of time these people out here with these bikes and scooters wearing regular clothes, no kind of protective gear.
Toyota just announced that they are increasing the pricing of some of their models. So we have to ask the question, is the car market finally crashing? Let's talk about it. First, let's talk about price increases, as this has been a major point of discussion ever since the tariffs have been enacted. There were people talking about a 25% increase coming a few months ago if you didn't buy a car, so you had to hurry and run. Well, that hasn't happened, and there might be more price increases in the future, but as of right now, we've only seen a select few brands raise their prices. As of right now, that's Mercedes-Benz that has raised their prices anywhere between 3 to 5% on their 2026 models. BMW just announced a 1.9% increase on their 2026 models. Volvo has gone 4% across the board. Subaru since November has gone up 4%, but about $7,500 or $750 to $2,000 since the tariffs themselves. Ford increased it by $2,000 on some select models. GM and JLR have said they're going to increase prices, but haven't yet. Toyota actually just announced that they increased their prices today. It's only on 2 models. It is on a Toyota Tundra and a Sequoia, and they're raising their prices a whopping $150 as part of their delivery, processing, and handling fee. I do want to make a special note as I negotiate car deals for a living, and I will tell you the amount of dealerships that are blaming tariffs on why they can't discount a car or why they're charging markup for a car is insane. Even on Honda, where Honda has said they're not passing on the tariff cost to their consumers, dealerships didn't get the message as they are trying to utilize this. If this happens to you while you're buying a car, just shop somewhere else. I'm telling you, you don't have to use the tariffs in order to sell a car. That being said, I'll say the biggest impact of the tariffs have had has been an inventory shortage, as there's been less inventory, which can cause the demand and price of the car to go up, but nothing crazy dramatic. I'm still seeing very similar discounts, but I will see there has been some outliers. For example, because of everything that's been happening with the EV credit, I've seen less plug-in hybrids that qualify for that credit. I'm talking about like the RAV4 Prime, or plug-in hybrid is how it's called. I've been seeing less and less of those cars. So if you're looking for a plug-in hybrid or something that qualifies for the EV credit and it's not readily available in the lot, understand you might have a tough time finding that car. Used car pricing is still inflated. So my recommendation normally is still to buy new. Once you discount a new car compared to what it is at a used car, the delta normally doesn't make sense. You're only saving a small amount of money to buy a used car. Cars aren't depreciating 20% once you drive them off the lot. So go new versus used. If there are going to be any more price increases, they're going to happen right now. As a few brands have announced it, other brands are going to follow suit because they want to blend in with the noise and not be an outlier. So understand if the prices haven't increased in the next week or two, they're probably not going to increase for the next few months.
And there has been reports of people getting into serious issues, and there has been reports of people getting into serious injuries because of it. Now, in the next segment, they're going to explain how much more it is in order for the average working class family to afford to get back and forth to work or school. How much more are we talking about here?
It's a crisis we've been living with. It's like we're running a high fever, right? We have too many households where people are working hard and they can't earn a decent standard of living.
One of the biggest challenges, access to transportation. AAA says the cost of owning a new car, payments, insurance, maintenance, and fuel is more than $12,000 a year for the average American household.
That's a lot of money.
You're basically saying to a family, it's going to be $1,000 a month or more to get to and from work, get to and from school.
Now, a couple of things I want to point out here. The guy said a lot of people are working hard and still finding it very difficult to afford a decent, not an extravagant, not a luxury, not a high quality, but a decent quality of living while working hard. Sometimes the husband and wife working hard together, still having similar issues financially, and some are working 2-3 jobs and side jobs just to get by, and it still is not enough. Now, they also said $12,000 a year for the average American family to afford a car in 2025, which is astounding. That's nearly $1,000 a month, counting maintenance, insurance, car note, gas, all of these other things that are kind of associated with a car. That is assuming you have a standard basic car, not a luxury car, because I am sure those numbers go up extremely higher with a luxury car. So what do you guys make of this? Are you dealing with something similar? Do you know a family member or a friend dealing with something similar? Have you seen the cost and the cost of living crisis being more and more of a challenging issue for average people? Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.